Welcome back to the deep dive. We distill complex ideas, find those essential truths, and really try to uncover what's relevant for you today. And today, we're going on a really profound journey, I think. It's a deep dive into generating what's called the Bodhi mind. Our source material for this it comes from this really powerful lecture provided by the Australian Buddha's Practice Incorporated, and our guide is the esteemed Venerable Master Bennie. We'll be looking at his teachings through a translation by Grace Spirit. So our mission here is to really get what this Bodhi mind, this mind of awakening actually is, why it's so important in Buddhist thinking, and maybe how its ideas could offer some, surprisingly practical insights for us, help cut through the noise, find some clarity, maybe purpose.
Absolutely. And we have a fascinating path laid out.
Yeah.
We'll kick off with this beautiful analogy right from the sutra. Then we'll dive into the master's explanations, which are incredibly vivid, very practical. He even connects it to artificial intelligence, which is, well, unexpected, but gives a fresh angle. And finally, we'll sort of grasp the bigger picture, what cultivating this kind of mind really means for us and, for others too.
Okay, let's start there then, with that first piece of sutra text. It begins, Tambuddha vinyavunha, o trongda vuiche va thought nan fa.
Right. And that translates roughly as, the Bodhi mind is like a flower garden where one plays and enjoys the Dharma bliss. It's such a rich image to start with.
A flower garden.
Oh.
Okay. What does that really imply, though? What kind of garden are we talking about?
Well, that's where the master really elaborates beautifully. He explains this isn't, just your average backyard garden. He pictures it with strange mountains, exotic waters, and countless flowers of myriad colors, with fragrant perfumes wafting everywhere. It's quite evocative. And here's the key bit. The Bodhi mind is those things. It is the strange mountains, exotic waters, and countless flowers. It's the very essence of that beautiful, joyful state. That Dharma bliss part refers to that deep joy and peace you get from understanding and living by universal truths, spiritual wisdom, basically.
That picture of an inner landscape, it's incredibly vivid. So the Bodhi mind isn't just some abstract idea then. It's more like a vibrant inner world you live in and find real joy in.
Exactly. It's a state of being. And cultivating it, well, the master suggests it starts with a shift in how you see things, a kind of commitment to waking up. He often says the mind itself, when you point it towards wisdom and compassion, becomes this garden. It's about actively nurturing the good stuff and, letting go of what holds you back.
Okay, and that actually leads us right into this really sharp contrast the master draws about what happens when we don't cultivate that garden. He says, sentient beings largely find it easy to see the faults of others and speak about their faults, which is chewing on others' feces.
Whoa, that's an unforgettable analogy. Why is finding fault so bad? Like chewing on feces.
It's stark, isn't it? And deliberately so, I think, because it's powerful. He explains others' faults are bad, like feces. They're not good for people. And he doesn't just mean noticing flaws. He talks about actively chewing on them, like dwelling on them, keeping them in their minds, until you become, his words, foul from inside out.
Foul from inside out.
Gosh.
Yeah. And this constant going over others' flaws, he says it gives off a foul odor that makes people dislike you, even despise you. And when people react negatively to you, you often react back, right? Creating more negative karma, those natural consequences of actions, which just ramps up the suffering. But then he contrasts it directly with the Bodhisattva path. He says, unlike those who develop the Bodhi mind and practice the Bodhisattva path, playing in merits, blessings, and wisdom, that is true peace and excellence.
Bodhisattva. That's someone who aims for enlightenment to help everyone else, right? Accumulating merits through good deeds.
Exactly. So they're focused on the positive, on wisdom, on benefit, which leads to peace. It's the complete opposite of dwelling on negativity.
So developing this Bodhi mind is like a direct antidote then to that whole cycle of negativity, blame, suffering. It changes your inner world, points you towards something actually fulfilling.
Precisely. It redirects your energy.
All right, now for something I found really surprising, this connection the master makes to artificial intelligence, AI. He mentions the father of AI, their decades of work, leading to things like AlphaGo and AlphaZero. How does that fit in?
It's quite insightful, actually. He uses it as an example of what a highly developed, focused mind can achieve in the real world. He points out how figures like the father of AI are respected, how they operate with this incredible self-mastery, tai is the term, like a state of freedom and control in what they do, and they get significant recognition.
Okay.
And he connects it back to the Bodhi mind. He asks, why? Because they have developed a mind that is also the Bodhi mind. They have awakened to how to discover AI, excavate it, build it. It's not saying they're Buddhists necessarily, But their mindset, that deep dedication, the tireless effort, the intense pursuit of knowledge, potentially for broad benefit, it embodies key aspects of this awakened mind.
Right. And he talks about that amazing leap from AlphaGo, which beat the human champs, to AlphaZero, which AlphaGo couldn't even beat once, the speed of it.
Yes, exactly. And this incredible pace has led to this public feeling where, you know, many people now love AI, but also fear AI because it no longer relies on human ways. It has its own ways.
Understandable fear, maybe.
Perhaps. But the master's point is crucial here.
Yeah.
Fear or not is superfluous. It's kind of unnecessary or beside the point. He draws a parallel. Just like smart humans can do bad things, the goal should be to build AI like the Buddha, only benefiting sentient beings, not harming them.
Build AI like the Buddha. How would that even work?
Well, he suggests that the potential is there. He highlights that these high-level people, like the AI founders, they have the capacity to steer it right, to prevent a, quote, demon-like AI, and instead create one that only saves sentient beings.
So it's about intention and direction.
Very much so. He explains that once they truly commit to that beneficial goal, they can effectively shape the outcome. It's like creating a parallel world where demon-like beings exist, but Buddhas also exist. Because their unceasing diligence, their constant effort, will eventually lead someone, somewhere, to build a Buddha-like AI.
Okay, but how? Just through hard work.
Hard work, yes. But there's another element, according to the master. The role of Buddha's vows. These are like endless promises or commitments to help all beings. He suggests these vows actually help those working towards universal benefit to succeed faster. And this help isn't conditional on belief. It comes because they develop the mind to save humanity.
Wow.
It's this authentic, impartial compassion, he calls it. That kind of intention naturally connects with these supportive forces, causing their wisdom to pour forth like a spring. It suggests that a mindset on vast, impartial good automatically aligns with forces that help it succeed.
That's fascinating. And you mentioned the father of AI is now focused on building rules for future AI. Alignment, they call it.
Yes, establishing laws, rules, systems. But the idea is so that future AI can manifest Buddha's characteristics. And crucially, the master notes, this is being done not for fame, not for gain.
It really does make you pause and think about the times we're in. Progress happening incredibly fast, almost miraculously.
It's a remarkable perspective.
So we see how this Bodhi mind impacts us internally, how it relates even to something like AI development. But how does it change our interactions, our place in the world? The next bit of sutra seems to address that. Ngu fatam bodo nyungoi nyat shitcha munglai sunan onchotat kansin.
Which translates as, one who develops the Bodhi mind is like a sheltering house, providing peace for all beings. The master clarifies this further. One who develops the Bodhi mind is a refuge because they bring benefit to all realms. Essentially, people will naturally feel safe with and drawn to such a person. They'll take refuge in them.
A sheltering house. A refuge. That makes me think of characters in stories, maybe someone like Mei Chang-su in Nirvana and Fire. He wasn't seeking peace for himself, just trying to help his friends escape suffering. And because of that, so many people relied on him, took refuge in him. Is that the kind of selflessness we're talking about?
That's a great example. It's exactly that selfless concern. When someone genuinely puts others' well-being first, they become trustworthy, reliable, a safe harbor. And this leads the master to pose a question, really for all of us listening. Have you ever brought benefit to anyone?
Oof. That's direct.
It is. And another challenging thought he throws out, if you are not ordained, who will care about you? Now, this isn't meant to put down lay people at all. It's more to stress this universal duty we all have to try and benefit others, regardless of our role.
Okay.
He also really emphasizes gratitude here. We all exist thanks to all of the Buddha's grace, he says, but have we ever remembered Buddha's kindness? Because there's a clear warning attached. One who is ungrateful will have their good roots cut off.
Good roots. It's like our potential for good, our positive foundations.
Yes, built up through positive actions and intentions. And if those roots are cut, he says, peace will also be lost, you will die. What remains? Only suffering, only bad luck. It's a stark connection between gratitude and well-being.
So being ungrateful, focusing only on negativity, it has these really profound, damaging consequences. Losing peace, attracting suffering, cutting yourself off from positive influence.
Exactly, which is why he urges self-reflection. Think carefully, look at yourselves, make yourselves better. But he's also realistic. He acknowledges it's hard, maybe futile, to try and help people who only believe in delusion, impulsive emotions, excessive self-confidence, simply because they don't believe you anyway.
Right.
It highlights a sad truth. Even though Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are always trying to help, people often don't pay attention. They trust their own confusing emotions more than wisdom.
Okay, so the Bodhi mind is this inner garden. It makes us a sheltering house. How does it actually help us in our own practices, our own efforts to grow or achieve things? This last piece of sutra seems relevant. Bodhi la tosia la no nyung tu chukak hain kwit chubotat.
Right. Meaning, one who develops the Bodhi mind is the support, the refuge for the practices of all bodhisattvas. What this means practically, the Master explains, is that those on the path, the bodhisattvas, they always need to find a clear-minded person for guidance. And one who develops the Bodhi mind is an experienced person.
Yeah.
Because they have traveled that path. You can't really lead someone somewhere you haven't been yourself, right?
Makes sense. Experience counts.
And he gives this wonderful down-to-earth analogy. He says, like me growing vegetables, I will research thoroughly, and after researching, I will do it, absolutely following the rules, completely meeting the plant's growth needs. That is called developing the Bodhi mind.
Huh. Growing vegetables as developing the Bodhi mind. I like that.
It's great, isn't it? Because the impact is clear. Because you develop the mind towards that path, you have walked it and succeeded. At this time, others who don't know will look at you and follow, noting down your every step to do, and they will also succeed.
So it's about having a proven method, leading by example, whether it's gardening or, life itself. Because if you just wing it, follow your impulses. Well, like he says, you might kill the plant, over-fertilize, over-water, metaphorically speaking.
Exactly right. He stresses that only those who absolutely follow the rules, the principles at work, can succeed, either by watching someone who knows or by following clear instructions. Anyone else who's still immersed in delusion, emotions, moods can only fail. And this brings him to a rather sobering example. He mentions some of the 500 bodhisattvas figures from scripture who apparently strayed, and no matter how much you pull, you can't pull them back. They don't know how they killed themselves, he says. It is precisely that their good roots were cut off.
Wow, so why couldn't they be helped? What was blocking them?
According to the Master, it's because they refuse help. They only want delusion, emotions, impulsivity. They only believe in that. They reject guidance. They get stuck in a state where they can't even make offerings, thinking, I don't even have enough to eat. How can I give to you? There's a poverty mentality, a lack of generosity rooted in their delusion.
And the consequence?
Their karma, the result of their actions, becomes hard to ripen. It just sort of drags on, leading to these endless cycles of suffering. And this is where he lands on the absolute crucial role of faith. They must have faith, he insists, because faith is the source of all merits, nourishing all good roots. Once there is no faith, no merits are born, no good roots are nourished. Therefore, faith is the source of all merits. Without faith, it's over.
Faith is the source of all merits. That's huge.
It really is. It's presented as the fundamental starting point for any positive development.
And without it, well, as he says about those individuals, they only believe in delusion, only believe in eating, drinking, and playing at this point. There's no way. It's a stark reminder of where our focus and belief can lead us.
A very profound reminder.
So wrapping this all up, what does this deep dive into generating the Bodhi mind really mean for us sitting here listening? It feels like it's shown us this isn't just some lofty spiritual idea. It's actually a practical framework for wisdom, for self-mastery, and for bringing real benefit, not just to ourselves, but, well, to everyone.
Absolutely. From avoiding that trap of negative focus, the chewing feces analogy, which is hard to forget, all the way to thinking about benevolent AI, and hitting home that absolute need for faith and gratitude. Venerable Master Bennie's lecture, using these sutra texts, it really gives a powerful way to think about how we can genuinely flourish and how we can become that refuge for others, that experienced guide.
Yeah. Before we finish, we really should extend our deepest gratitude to the Australian Buddhist Practice Association for providing this incredible lecture material.
Definitely. And immense thanks to Venerable Master Bennie for such profound teachings. And of course to Grace Spirit for the vital translation work that made this accessible to more people.
We should also acknowledge Venerable Chenmo, any specialists involved in bringing this forward, and naturally our esteemed audience, you for joining us on this journey of discovery today.
It's been great exploring it.
So for you, our listener, maybe we can leave you with this to think about. If faith is the source of all merits, nourishing all good roots, as the Master says, What might it look like for you to really cultivate unwavering faith? And maybe not just in a religious sense, but faith in a principle, perhaps, or a goal. Or even just faith in the simple act of trying to bring benefit to others. How could that transform your own garden of the Bodhi mind? Something to mull over.
A wonderful closing thought.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.